All right. Hey guys, and welcome to Smells Like Teen Angst and Poppin Off at Pop's, our Riverdale after show. Today we are going to be talking about season 5, chapter 15. No, episode 15, chapter 91, the return of the Pussycats. And as always, I have these gangsters with me. Say hello, ladies.
Hi, I'm Keiki. I'm coming to you from my bedroom. Don't judge it.
Hi, I'm Jordan. You can find me at Lambertra. I did it right this week, guys. I practiced.
I'm proud of you. And as always, I'm Sarah here with the same background as always. Maybe I'll change it up for the next season, for season 6. Should I put up a new one? We'll see what happens. If you like watching us on YouTube, but you don't always have YouTube on the go, you can catch us on all of your streaming platforms. Super exciting. And if you stuck around to the end of Jordan and I talking last week, you did hear, and just in case you don't know about our What the Forks podcast, a Twilight Book Club. We are bringing it back, ladies and gentlemen. We're figuring out the technicalities of it, but we're going to bring back What the Forks, and now it'll just be a YA podcast, a fun book reading of sorts. So if you have book suggestions, comment them, let us know so we can get this kicked off right. Yeah. Okay, so before we get into the nitty-gritty of this episode, I just have 2 questions for both of you. 1, thoughts overall, and 2, do you think this was a backdoor pilot for the Josie and the Pussycats series a lot of fans have been asking for years?
So that was going to be my thing. My thoughts were that I hate backdoor pilots. I really do. I don't care if the show that they end up making is a good show. I don't care if it's a good one-off episode. It's always a filler in the overall story. I'm looking at you, Gossip Girl and Grey's Anatomy. You have both played me this way. And now, Riverdale, you've done it to me twice.
Mm-hmm. Supernatural tried to do it too.
Yeah. See, that's my issue. You're allowed 1. Okay, you're allowed 1. Riverdale, you doing this twice, 2 times. Katie Keene was a floppity flop, okay? And I watched it. Because that's where Josie went. And now we're giving Josie a whole new show. I'm not into this. Let it die.
Well, we don't know if she's actually getting a show or not. They haven't announced it yet.
They haven't, but I have a theory about this. My assumption is
money laundering.
No, it's not money laundering, but low key, I feel like the actor who plays Josie, Ashley, whatever her name is, she probably signed a pay-to-play contract, which means that the CW, if they gave her a pay-to-play contract and they sidelined her in Riverdale, then they put her and Katie Keene to make up for having sidelined her in Riverdale, and then Katie Keene got canceled. She's just been sitting at home getting a paycheck, and you know they aren't happy about that.
I mean, that's fair to assume. I think that's very fair to assume.
Yeah. It's a thing that a lot of actors, especially Black actors, do to protect their own backside. They sign pay-to-plays, so.
Yeah. I mean, I'm mad at you, girl, if that's what you did.
I'm not mad at her, but I am mad at them for doing another backdoor pilot on me.
I know, which I really feel this is, and we'll see.
I appreciate this being the blackest episode ever.
I do appreciate this being the blackest episode ever.
I also appreciate that it was an entire episode, let's say 95% dedicated to Josie and where they have been for the last 7 years. Because the last we heard of them, Josie did her girls dirty, stopped talking to them, went on tour with her dad, and that's how they wrote her off the show.
And that's so when I was halfway to 3/4 of the way through the episode, I was like, this is actually a really nice way to close out Josie's story and to close out the story of the Pussycats, because she really did do them dirty, and they wrote a really bad exit for her to put her on Katie Keene.
Right?
And then Val and Melody got screwed in the process, and they just kind of disappeared from the show too. So I thought it was a nice way to give them closure. And then we got to that last sentence, and I was like, oh, this is not closure. Oh.
No, it's possible openings of all the things. Because Melody wrote a book, and we don't really even know what this book is about. And I'm like, oh, we have a novelist. So I thought there was going to be some fun Jughead crossover, but there was none. And then we have the Tyler Perry name drop of the movie. But if Val can't be the lead.
Tyler Perry don't care about casting stars.
No, but I'm also just letting either of you
No.
know, if you write a movie or a script, you don't have to cast me in it. Like, I don't
I'm gonna
expect
give you
it. I
some
don't
money on the
expect
side. We all getting paid, but I ain't saying no.
right, exactly. I'm like, I
Mhm.
will not. I will never. Like, don't give up your big studio dream. We can help each other out later. That's so
Right.
silly.
Basically, I can name everybody in my screenplay after y'all, and if they said we want Beyonce and Britney Spears to play them, I would be like, "Well, go right on
Go
ahead,
right
because
ahead.
it's still a check. Jordan and Sarah still gonna get some money off of it.
Right?
That's fine.
You're like,
That's okay."
I'm still giving
Somebody's
them
car is still
1%.
getting paid off.
Right? It's like Sarah and Jordan get that 1% of all the residge. Take care of us.
Basically.
I was like, whoa. But I did kind of like how they introduced this a little bit where Josie's been missing. Josie went missing. You hear it on the radio. She rolls up in Riverdale because everyone who goes missing from Riverdale returns to Riverdale.
Which is the first place they would look for you, but okay.
I know. Well, that's what when her
Exactly.
mom shows up. Her mom's like, yeah, duh. And then we get like, if we're ever getting musical numbers, it can only be from Josie and the Pussycats. When
There
she's
was so many musical numbers this episode, you guys. So
There were, I said my first note is so Riverdale's Glee now,
Well, we've known this.
because apparently Riverdale thinks it's Glee now.
But I will say, as much as I don't think people should cover Celine Dion, that was a nice "It's All Coming Back to Me." Kudos to y'all.
As soon as the dong hit, I was like, oh,
Oh no!
oh.
Sarah went, oh,
Never
and I
mind,
went,
when
oh.
the wind was so cold. It doesn't
You
matter.
can't do a Celine though. You need the raw. Okay.
Do it.
Right? You gotta bang on your chest.
You gotta just bang on your chest. And then the girls came into it because I was like, we get this like fun
I don't have, like,
fantasy.
gowns.
I just like that we get the gowns, yeah, and like this memory montage because like there was a couple characters I totally forgot about that were in her flashback. I also did not remember that Josie had a thing with Sweet Pea, so thanks for that flashback moment.
Me either.
You know what was real awkward to me? I'm jumping ahead, but I'm sorry.
No,
When
go
all three
ahead.
of them went to go talk to Archie, I was like, 2/3 of the people in this conversation have made out with Archie.
I mean, just made out? We don't know. Are they Eskimo sisters? Well, only Archie knows. Yeah, and he's just like, it's just like high school, and I'm like, so
Anyway,
Just like high school. No, in high school, Josie wore her real hair and it looked good. This episode was wigs
Girl.
laid by Party City.
the baby hair gave me heart palpitations. It hurt me
So
physically.
It was like they glued hair on her head to make baby hair.
I
Like,
straight
I
up
don't know
want
what
to
that
know where
mess
was her
is.
makeup artist? Like what happened to this episode? Where was Josie's regular makeup artist? Where was her regular hair person? Because that wig, it looked like a Tyler Perry wig.
I think it looked worse than a Tyler Perry wig. Y'all.
I know.
She was
I
also
mean, at
wearing
least Tyler Perry
a
wigs have the baby hair laid right.
Let me just say, I don't always notice, but if I notice, it's bad. You know what I mean?
Bad.
Anyway,
bad.
I'm sorry. Back to
No,
the top of the episode.
It's fine. I also lived for her calling Hiram a little bitch.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm saying. Josie went off this episode multiple times, and I was here for it because
Me
she definitely
too.
deserved to call all the Riverdale gang out on their bullshit, which she did. Like Josie was grown, and she proved it this episode because she went off on her being the Riverdale gang. She said
That's
her piece.
what.
Hiram knocked on her door, and she was like, "You're just a little bitch in your jammies. Get out of my face!" Like Josie was not here for their shit.
And let's talk about that scene
I'm
at
clapping for you. Wait, I just gotta acknowledge Jordan right now because Josie was with the shits and I was about it. And she was, and my biggest note about Josie is finally a grown up on Riverdale. This was a flash forward, and I have not seen anybody acting like an adult or like someone who has like a shred of common sense. And Josie walked up in this motherfucker and she was like, we're grown. And I was about that.
Yeah, same. And like, let's talk about that conversation because like they all jumped at her and they were like, "Oh, she can help with this. We could do a concert. We could do this. We could do that." And she's like, "Excuse me, no, Jughead. Excuse me, Cheryl. You sent me a heart." Like she called all of them out on the bullshit they've done over the past 4 or 5 seasons to her. So,
bye, goodbye.
Somebody
Josie
actually
was like,
someone acting like they had some dignity for once.
yeah, I was good. I lived for her calling out Hiram. Be like, just move him if my music's too loud. Like, so like he's like, excuse me, why do you think you could speak to me like that? I was like, also he
she's
looked real
Josie
short.
McCoy.
He was very
Okay,
short in that
that's
scene,
why.
right?
He looked so short because like the guy who worked for the hotel was a giant, apparently.
Lurch works for that hotel. It's fine.
Yeah. I was just like, damn. Like when you put someone that tall next to that person, making them look so small, they lose all power. And maybe that was the point and why they did that, because it was too good. And
we also had two of my favorite Riverdale isms in that conversation when they're at the White Worm: Vanity Fair and Entertainment Tomorrow.
Yes. I didn't write them down. Thank you for noting them.
Oh, you know I had to. That's my favorite thing about Riverdale. Y'all know this.
I love Riverdale. They're so good.
Veronica's
Also,
reading Vanity Fair on Marcia's Vineyard.
Oh, Riverdale. I'm sorry. And then
with my American excess. Don't worry, Kate, with it with my American excess.
American excess. I also love that like Sweet Pea rolled up in his motorcycle and then she was like, I just need this, and like took him for a ride. And then he was like covering his face with a pillow when she left. Like, so good.
I just like that he was like, can I give you a ride? and she got a ride, okay?
I love that whole like hometown hookup where you go back and you meet somebody that you used to know and you're like, you know what? I'm not even going to be here that long. Let's just, and then we'll go.
I mean, it's happened.
But apparently she's taking them on tour, so.
I know. Sweet Pea will be on their show. Yeah. I'm like, Sweet Pea will be on that show. Her mom will be on that show. Yeah, Melody's girlfriend. Is that right? Yeah.
Everybody and their mama got on that bus.
Episode. Had that been like explored at all?
I don't remember, honestly.
I don't either.
Other like Riverdalians, as I like to call you, did we explore Melody being lesbian in previous Riverdale episodes? Because I don't remember that at all.
I don't either. I appreciated it. I love the representation, but I was just like, did we talk about this before? Did I forget something?
Yeah, I mean, we've had a lot of information.
No.
Yeah, and those characters were so thrown to the side in previous seasons of Riverdale.
Oh, yeah.
Like they were done. Those characters have always been done really dirty. I do like then later she meets up Josie. This whole episode is like Josie making amends, Josie fighting ghosts, Josie dealing with her own past. And then she goes to the girls and apologizes to them. They have their own combo. And then I love that like she's like, do you guys even still perform? And then we get this whole performance. Like all they've ever done was perform at the club for the last 7 years. And we've never seen them. And we're 15 episodes deep at this point?
15 episodes deep and we haven't seen them at the White Worm one time.
Not once.
And they had backup dancers and choreography.
So you know they had that ready to go.
Girl, you know why? Because Archie Andrews has 25 motherfucking jobs. And they said, where are all these people we used to have on Riverdale? We need to give them some jobs because Archie's going to have a heart attack and we can't do this.
Archie and his 20 jobs. Oh, man. And then we find out Josie had her breakdown and left tour because her dad died. And I think that's really sad, but it's also an interesting catalyst to bring the girls back together and this book tour, Pussycats tour, backdoor pilot story that we're going to get.
I did. And I appreciate that Josie's mom called the girls because, you know, when you're in a situation like that, you need support from all angles. There's only so much that one person can do for you. So I love that Josie's mom had her back enough to be like, hey, like I don't care about the other shit that happened, but like y'all love each other. You need to go check on her. And I also love that they apologized. Not that they were wrong. They should have called Josie on her shit, right? But like it's never what you say, it's how you say it. And if they had known differently, they would have done differently in that situation.
Right. They might have been a little nicer, maybe. Or hashed it out on the bus.
Right.
Like somewhere something would have come out of that. Because then we get this man. Hold on, I wrote his name. Toot Sweet.
Too sweet.
Isn't that like from Babes? Not from Babes in Twilight. Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah.
Rolling up, he's like, I'm Toot Sweet. I used to tour with your daddy in New Orleans and Nolans. It's my bad New Orleans accent. And says like, I think your dad was murdered. And I love that her mom's like, if we're in Riverdale, we know foul play is probably part of it. Like, okay. So just like, well, that's the first stop on our tour because we're going to find out who murdered my daddy. But then where does the show go from there?
They did also put in like 95 plots, which is the Riverdale special, because he was like, there was foul play, there was gangsters, there was theft, there was voodoo.
He was gambling
in Mississippi.
I'm just like, what would the like thing be? Would they just be like, what would the storyline be? Just figure out who killed her dad, and then after that, where does it go? Be like a
supernatural murder mystery with a lot of singing. Putting my money on it right now, which basically is what Riverdale is—a supernatural murder mystery with a lot of singing. So there you go.
Well, Riverdale's a fake supernatural murder mystery with a lot of singing because it's never supernatural. It's always Scooby-Doo. You know what I mean? Like every time.
Riverdale is just like the city that serial killers go to like live their best life, you know?
It's like Sacramento.
Like you got demons, you want to cut people like Sacramento. Riverdale's somewhere adjacent to Sacramento. All the Bundys and blah, blah, blah. The Mansons.
Look up where a lot of serial killers came from, y'all. That's why I say it.
I mean,
not really though.
Not really though.
Are you sure it wasn't Stockton? I'm sorry if anybody lives in Stockton and watches this, but I've been through Stockton and I'm like,
don't come for our friend, my friend Steven is from Stockton. And then we get this like weird side storyline with Tabitha Tate and Pops and the franchise and more singing. And like, I appreciate like Tabitha comes to Veronica asking her to like help her invest this nest egg because she wants to franchise Pops, and Veronica's like, no, don't invest with me because we got problems over here. But she grabs another client to bring her in, and then this lady wants to turn Pops into a musical singing. It's like basically like a Hamburger Mary's, right?
Or a Johnny Rockets.
Johnny Rockets.
Johnny Rockets.
Yeah.
In order to turn Pops into, it was just like such a weird storyline, like not the milkshake. We'll up our prices to 20 to modern.
Weird storyline in a weird episode. I think if they had done that in a different episode, it wouldn't have felt very out of place. But we have this whole storyline about Josie, but then it's here, and it really just felt like they were trying to have the blackest episode possible. Which, hey, again, I'm down for. But I don't know if the A plot and the B plot really matched each other. What I will say though is that I love Tabitha, like. Again, these women acting grown and putting their foot down. I love that she was like, we are not changing the chocolate recipe. Like, that was my great grandfather's. This was the first Black owned business in Riverdale. Like, he served Black people when nobody else would. And if you can't get down with that, then you can get out.
Yeah. I loved that.
Yeah. We all like a little piece of history. Anything that kind of makes it. Because I've always wondered, like, how did a Black man end up owning a business in a town like Riverdale where there's like 2.5 Black people? So I liked that bit of spice. You know, that the little, actually, this was the place that Black people hang out at and hide out at and were able to eat when no one else could. And our milkshakes, like, we were a chocolate shop. Like, that came from my heart. I was okay with that. I was, however, not okay with Kevin clapping off beat. Because that was wrong.
It was. I'm like, it's little shop. And he's just like.
He couldn't find it. Kevin could not find that beat.
Okay. This poor boy. Casey Cox.
And this is why he doesn't have a musical career, I guess.
This is why you didn't go to Broadway, Kevin, because you couldn't find the beat. Can we pause for a second and talk about this obvious product placement in that scene, though? That
oh my God, the Old Navy! Because Tony's
baby jeans.
Tony is back and just made her debut in this Little Shop musical number. and then drops that
Tony is
huge
back.
product. Yes,
Tony's
Jordan,
back, and
please.
she's still pregnant. She's still pregnant.
I know. I didn't mean
Can
to
you
cut
get
you off. I'm
Wilma?
so sorry. Keep going.
No, that was it. My whole note was like this over the top product placement. Just I wasn't. What was the purpose?
Wait, yeah, I got you.
I like that she just wheeled off.
That's the only way to get props. Oh! Sponsor us, Old Navy, please.
Sponsor us, Old Navy. Baby clothes are expensive, all right?
Mm-hmm. Truth. I don't know. And then Tony goes into labor at the Pussycats concert, which was the most boring concert of all time.
I didn't think it was that bad. I do want to know how their backing music kept going when all the Pussycats dropped their instruments. I have questions about that.
Yeah. I don't know. I just feel like they need to do better with the songs, because when the Josie and the Pussycats movie from the 90s has better music, like that's a problem.
Here's the thing though. No one's ever going to have better music than that because that movie is iconic. That soundtrack it slaps, it's timeless. It's never going to get better than that. So let's not even try. But I was thinking about, like, before the show started, I've always been upset with the musical direction they took with Josie and the Pussycats, because when I found out they were casting 3 Black women as Josie and the Pussycats, I was expecting, like, Sid, the internet, like, SZA type vibes. Like, I wanted a very Black feeling vibe, and all we got was, like, Glee pop covers. And I feel like they always could have done more with the music of Josie and the Pussycats in this whole series.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you. And the best singer they got is Melody. So
yeah, that Dua Lipa was good. I was vibing. I was like, this is some good karaoke, American Idol stuff. Like, she busting it down. I was having a good time, okay?
Hey, Val's a babe, and if she is single, drop that in the comments.
Drop it in the comments. Hey, girl, hey. Val reminds me of the girl who played Ashley in Degrassi.
She does remind me of someone, and I can't ever put my finger on who it is.
Take a look at the actress who played Ashley, and you get back to me. So Tony has her baby, names him.
The creepy mortician was there.
So what was there? I'm sorry.
The creepy mortician was there to help with the delivery.
Because he's a huge Josie fan,
and he's Principal Weatherby.
Well, yeah, I know.
Also, how does this benefit make any money being at the White Worm with just, school friends buying tickets when these are the people that need the money? I was like, we should have had a celebrity walk through here. Like, Veronica should have called some of her clients. Like, let's make this a real thing. This is an intimate concert with Josie McCoy. Like, if y'all gonna pull out the stops, pull them out.
Agreed. Because that place holds, 50 people?
Right.
Come on now.
One thing that I did enjoy about the scene was that Archie and Kevin got so excited, and Archie kissed Kevin on the cheek, and I just loved that. I love a moment of healthy platonic intimacy, particularly between two men. Kudos.
It was very cute. I caught that too. I was like, look at them. So proud and so happy for their acquaintances. Because Josie called that shit out too.
Yeah, not friends.
She's like, we are not friends. We are barely acquaintances. I was like,
okay. Like, do we think that Cheryl helping Tony give birth to her baby is going to come back?
In what way?
Do we just think it's going to come up again? Like, it's a very bold choice to have Cheryl help Tony in labor.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
I always liked the Cheryl Tony. I know that it had issues, but Tony kept Cheryl out of her crazy. And Cheryl is full crazy right now, and we're accepting it because she's always been a little. But the church adjacent and Palladium under the maple trees, and I just want better for my girl, for my queen HBIC. Like, I want to see the red hair come back,
Yeah. We'll see what happens. I do appreciate that they didn't try to muddle this episode up with a bunch of other storylines. We just got Josie, the girls, and Tabitha. We didn't get any more Jughead and Betty and Archie. They all got their time to shine. And I like that Veronica was just kind of like a catalyst, a little bit tying everything together. Just to like help it move it along. But that was with the Tabitha storyline, which is still kind of a weird one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But it also gives me... Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was like, it also gives me 2 episodes back to back that are like, so one character focused story, like, and then Josie gets her whole episode where I'm like, can we get back to Riverdale? Not trying to be rude, but like,
you weren't here to talk with Jordan and I last week. She and I loved it, and you did not like how it was only 3 characters. You missed the whiplash of Riverdale.
I did miss the whiplash. I think having a Josie episode this week, I was like, y'all, I'm done. We went from Hiram. Remember, to this episode that's blah, blah, blah. And then now we're here with Josie. And I'm like, all these one-offs, great. Can we get back to Riverdale?
And I agree with you. We really do need to tie some plot points up. Like, I'm a little irritated that we're not tying up plot points.
For sure. I mean, but that's Riverdale's thing. We did tie up a couple, last time around, but there's still plenty of them out there, which is a Riverdale thing.
Oh,
Mothman.
Right. How we did not have any of that in last week's episode, or possibly this one. But,
maybe the Mothman got Josie's dad.
Oh, maybe that's how we're going to roll. That'll be messed up.
Jordan, you is smart. You is kind. And you is important.
Oh man, that's all the notes I have. Did you guys? Would you like a Josie the Pussycats spinoff show, or you just kind of like let those characters lie?
I'm not saying no to it, but I'm not excited about it either.
Fair enough, Keiki.
If it happens away from Riverdale and Riverdale stops singing, all for it.
Riverdale will never stop singing. We know this.
I cannot do another song, girl.
I hope it pleasantly surprises me, because I will say, when I brought this up earlier, when Grey's Anatomy did Private Practice, I was like, I do not care about this character or these people or this show. And then I ended up to love Private Practice. So I'm hoping that it pleasantly surprises me.
There we go. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
I mean, if it happens, I'm still going to watch it. I watch Katie Keene. I'll watch this.
Right? Exactly. Did we miss any things that you guys want to talk about? Check your notes, check your things. I got nothing else.
I hit all my notes.
I hit every single one.
Amazing. Good job, ladies. We killed it tonight. Yay.
We did it.
30 minutes. Hey.
I know. Thank you. And so, ladies, let's just say our quick goodbyes and we'll be out of here. Kiki.
Goodbye, everyone. This is my bedroom. Don't look at it. I'm sorry.
You're such a weirdo.
Goodbye.
Night, y'all. Get your memes. Those are important. I'm Jordan at Lambertra.
Get your memes. And again, I'm Sarah. Here all the time. Again, you can find us on all of your streaming platforms. Don't forget that we are bringing back What the Forks. So get in your book subjects and your book series, book things that you think we should read and discuss. Also, if you haven't checked out What the Forks, the Twilight Podcast, I don't know what you're missing, because you should listen to it. It's hilarious. And then, ladies, when is Blackness and Dragons returning?
Late September / early October. We don't have a firm date because I haven't finished writing.
Okay. Well, make sure you head over to QueueTimes, subscribe, turn on notifications so you can check out these two ladies and their amazing D&D campaign. Until next time.
Bye.